Hi, here's a very useful tool to help you review last year's profit and loss account and to set some major targets for next year's budget for your practice. Here's how it works. Here's the spreadsheet. This is the first page of our key objectives planning tool, and the practice manager has already entered data for the practice for the last available profit and loss account. So we have here total revenue last year £496,000. These are the costs. Total cost of veterinarians, including the cost of the owner, £126,000. Cost of support staff, establishment and overhead costs, and last year this practice generated an operating margin of £62,000, representing 12.6% of turnover. Now the manager's task is to plan ahead for next year, so he or she will click on to the planning page 2, and here are the key performance indicators for last year, the current year. The task now is to enter some targets for next year. Let's assume that the manager wants to increase the margin to 15% next year, to reduce the cost of drugs and supplies marginally as a percentage of turnover to 22%. He or she has done all the homework and forecast that next year the cost of veterinarians, including the owner, is going to be £132,000, that the cost of the nursing and support staff will be £101,000, that the establishment and overhead costs next year are going to be £102,000, and the objective next year also will be to try and increase the revenue from professional services as a percentage of the total from 64 to say 66%. Now we click on to Planning Tool 3, and here are the results. The spreadsheet will produce for us a budgeted profit and loss account for next year. So next year, here are the costs that we entered that we forecast are going to be the case for staff and for drugs and supplies and for establishment and overhead costs for next year. We forecast a 15% margin, and this is what we have to do. Next year, we have to seek overall growth on the top line of 7.2%, of which 9.7% increase on the cost of professional services, a 2.7% increase on the cost of drugs and supplies. So we're looking to grow to £531,000 next year, and if next year we keep these costs in line with forecast, we will achieve our margin of 15%. Just click here to try out the Key Objectives planning tool online, here and now. I'm John Sheridan from Veterinary Business Briefing.